Hello there. Well, my name's Beverly and I live in the UK. Today I'm going to pull a couple of prints using alcohol inks following quite a lot of requests from some postings that I put onto Facebook. I belong to two fabulous groups. One's the Holtz Addicts and there's been a lot of interest in alcohol inks recently. I haven't got to grips with alcohol inks previously. Love them. I love the pictures that I see other people creating, but it's not been my thing. And so I'm absolutely delighted that when I used them on an alcohol plate to find the results, I now have a real passion for alcohol inks. I also belong to a fabulous group, gel plate printing enthusiasts, and we all are very enthusiastic, and it's a fabulous, both groups are fabulous in terms of generosity and sharing knowledge and techniques. So I've had quite a lot of interest following my postings, which included the alcohol prints that I generated on my gel plate using alcohol inks. And so today, I have described the process in writing, but today, following the request, I am going to have a go at replicating the process in video so that people can see how I did it. I'm using just the alcohol ink selection that I've had for quite some time, so the Holtz alcohol inks, and I will be using, to pull the print, golden fluid acrylic. Mainly because the ones that I normally use for pulling the print are cream or a Titan buff, sort of off-white, because I love the colour of the alcohol inks, and I've got white paper. I wanted to really allow the colour to come through unaltered, and this happened to be the white that I had to hand, and it worked very well. So I'm sure that other white acrylic would work the same. So let's get underway then. Yeah, I might go. Let's try. Always a question. Let's try. Oh, let's go for this. So I tend to put quite a lot on, and I'm using an old brayer that I'm not worried about because it definitely will stain. There. Off. And put that down, and then I use my brayer just to put that down, and it might lift some of the colour in the middle, but that doesn't matter. What I'm interested in is that I get a stencil a little bit, like almost stuck to the plate, so that it minimises the bleed underneath the stencil. And then I literally use the nozzle a bit like a paintbrush, and I just put plenty of inks down. So that be that. And let's do turquoise. Quite a few people have asked about the staining. And yes, it does stain your gel plate. That doesn't impair the performance of it. I clean periodically. I clean it with using some baby oil to almost like rejuvenate the gel plate, and I think at that point it will take the staining away. But it isn't something that particularly bothers me too much. But a little bit of oil should remove it. I tend to clean mine after a session with a baby wipe. think I'm like everybody else really, that I had to get my head round lockdown. And one of the things I used to help me keep my mind in a good place, I suppose, and manage my state was to do crafting. And as I say, we do live on a wide beam barge. I'm very lucky. My husband does artisan woodwork. He creates artisan pieces of furniture, so he's crafty as well in a way. And I base myself at the moment in my kitchen, and I've got all my crafting things out, and sometimes if I know that I'm going to get to do it quite a lot during the week, I might leave it out. Otherwise, we do have a spare bedroom on the boat, and then I keep my crafting things in there. So I think it's like anything though, if it's out and about, I'm more likely to use it. So I have a relatively limited palette of colours, so because I wasn't too sure about alcohol inks, as I say, I have now, based on my enthusiasm for what I've managed to create, ordered some more. So I think I'm going to leave that one. I think that one seems to have colour in all the places. So I literally, because I've painted it like I have, and because the stencil was quite down, we should get quite a nice sharp image from that. For this one, I'm sticking to the two that I used on Facebook for those people that wanted to see it recreated. So I'm just gonna go for a. Let's go this route. Yeah, I've got butterscotch. So I'm just putting this, okay, a generous amount. Put that down, push that down with the brayer. That will bring up something like that. So these are just foam. Again, I got these just from the craft shop and they've got a patterning, so I think I might just put a little bit on the edge of this one. A little bit of added interest, and then I'm literally going to do the same. I am going to add colour into the design. So this is Valencia. Quite like this on the flower. I find I can be doing gel plate printing, and it can feel like I've been only doing it for 20 minutes and I might be there for 3 hours. So you end up, I used to buy background papers for die cutting and for my card making, and now I make all my own background papers, and it's led me into the world of mixed media and collaging. I find it so rewarding, and there's some very clever people that post very generous videos on YouTube to help pass on the skill. So actually it was really quite nice to be able to share the technique and plough back in, really. I have learnt such a lot from the groups that I belong to. I think having a hobby like this, a really absorbing one, it's very good for you. this should be an absolute kaleidoscope of colour. So again, I think that should cover it. So this is what we're aiming for. These are the sorts of things that I created and posted. There's a picture. Two separate ones. Really lovely scent. So that's what we're aiming for. Now I'm going to leave that for 30 minutes. What I tend to do during that time is because otherwise I get impatient, I have other crafting things lined up. So I create quite a lot of papers, and when I've had a gel plating session I might get something that's got less detail on, so I'll spend time going back through things from previous sessions and add detail into it. These are so they've got, and that's quite nice as it is really, so that's got quite a lot of detail on, but like that for instance, that's the sort of thing I might be doing. So I've pulled off and cleaned my plate with that, and then I've added some extra detail in. So where there's quite a lot of detail, I probably wouldn't add anything to that one. That's quite a nice texture plate actually, that's from a texture plate by Carabelle. So I'll work through, that's where I've been cleaning my brush, but then I've gone through and added a few things. So I'll have this set up ready, and this is where I'm using the Distress palette from Tim Holtz. I'll use stencils and stamps. So I'll while away time just doing that, and then I'll use these background papers, and I do have a huge pile of these. Really, I don't need to do any gel plate printing for another 2 years, at least. And what that helps me do is, sort of with the gel plate papers, I've been creating cards this year, and I've actually bagged these up, which is to keep them clean. But this is, I just so enjoy doing this. It's amazing what you can do with the papers and a black pen. So simple to do, so simple. I should never buy a card again. Great fun and very therapeutic. So that's how I use my gel plate papers. I am going to do a little bit of collaging with some soon actually. I'm building up to that now. I can't believe I got to over 50 before I discovered mixed media. It's just something I love. So we'll leave this now for half an hour, and I'll come back to you in half an hour and we'll see what the prints look like. Right then, 30 minutes have definitely elapsed, so I'm going to now remove the stencils. I always like to just clean the stencils a little bit if there's any left on there, so I normally have a few bits that could do with some extra detail on. So I'm going to peel this one off, and it's nicely stuck down. So just pop that on there, and then I am going to have a go at soaking my stencils this time. I don't normally clean my stencils, but Kate Crane suggested Biotech, which is a laundry stain remover. So this time I think I will have a go at that. It doesn't normally bother me because I quite like a grungy effect. It's just got a look. So As I mentioned before, I'm going to use the Golden Fluid acrylic because that's white out of my collection. It seems to work quite well. So I've got my card here, which is just basic white card. I bought it from a craft shop called Hobbycraft in the UK. I think it's quite thick, this one. I think this might be 300 GSM. I'm actually, yeah, I think I forgot that. I get a better, if we put the paint there, and then I can get the paint on the brayer, get around the brayer, then it causes minimum disruption to my design because the paint reactivates the inks. To be able to release them. I've got a thin, that's quite thick for me actually. Get my card. Press it down. I tend to find with the fluid acrylic it seems to bring up most of the ink, so I've not been getting a ghost print even with this one. On my first few prints I did use the Titan Buff acrylic, and I did get some ghost prints with that, but as I say, because it was a slight colouring in there, it affected the colour of the inks. It just gives splendid results each time. I love the colours on that. That's that, but as I say, the pad's very clean on that one. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. And the interesting thing with gel plate printing is that no two prints are ever the same. So I've got quite a lot of this design, but all of them are different. I have been seeing some very clever things done with the design. Some of the somebody using resin, had used resin and put some cork underneath and made some placemats, which I thought were beautiful. A piece of card. I love that. And actually you can see the little bit of extra detail in there. I think the thing is that because if you leave the stencil down, so if you put your inks on and you leave it down for quite a while, you can use the very different colours. You don't have to stick it to colour families. You can get the burst of colour without it going muddy. So and these are others. So it's quite a consistent in so that some of the earlier ones, I think that was done. So for instance, that was done without leaving the drying time. I've got a feeling I did that with the acrylic Titan Buff. And it just affects the colours slightly, doesn't it? I love that. So there's the two. They were posted on Facebook. So was that one. That one. So it's fairly consistent, really, if you follow that process. Really, really colourful results. I can't wait for my next colour. So I've gone from having a few alcohol inks, loving what other people do with them, but it not really working for me, So now I am a huge fan. A huge fan. I love my gel plates. I love the acrylic paints. They're so flexible what you can do with them. But I absolutely love what the alcohol inks do on the gel plate. So I hope that captures the process for you. You know, it's lovely to be able to offer something back into the group, because people are so good offering their knowledge, and this year it's through groups like that I've actually really been able to improve my skill enormously. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you have loads of fun, and you might have spurred me on. This hopefully be the first of a few videos that I might generate and update now that I've got my head round how I might do it. So have a fabulous time playing. Thank you very much. Bye.